The purpose of this video is to present to the HOA for consideration a deep look at the access easement situation here in Sundance Active Adult. I feel, as a member who has paid over $33,000 in dues in the last 12 years, I used to own 3 houses, now I own 2. And all 3 of those houses are those 3 houses right there. That was the first one I bought, and I bought those 2 a couple months later. I put solar on every one of them. That was a $15,000 investment in those houses. I've got a lot of money invested here. I've been here 12 years. Unlike Mr. Veskerna's statement, I don't spend 1 week a month here. I spend every day here. In the last 12 years, I spent all my time here except for 2 months when I spent back in New York for after all the legal hassle and everything else, and I got through all the court system for a false arrest. I went to New York for 2 months. Other than that, for the last 12 years, I've been here. Okay, through the summers, through the triple-digit heat. But getting back to the clarification of the access easements. I've already sent you the video of the conversation with the policeman and Dan Veskerna. Dan Veskerna openly admitted to him, we're only here 1 week a month. All right? And he also described to the policeman that he did, in fact, the first thing the policeman asked Dan Veskerna is, do you own this? And he goes, absolutely not. It's a common area. Well, did you put those in there? Yes, I did. Why? Because the clubhouse told me. I called the clubhouse and they said they were going to put it in anyway. So if there's plans, okay, first of all, this right here is an access easement. It's on the plat map as an access easement. It's on the same deed as all the other access easements in the community. It's tax-free. All those plants you see up there, we water them. They're watered by the community. So we have a share in how this is going to be used. We're going to have a share on how this is going to be used because we all own it. It's a common property. The first thing Dan Veskerna said to the policeman was, yeah, it's a common property. Common means that we all own it. Common means that we all have a right to use it. Now, per the HOA and per Dan Veskerna, this guy that only spends a week a month here, he only comes here when the weather's nice, okay? All right? Now, you just saw a maintenance guy go by. That guy has been working. He's one of the hardest workers on the crew. He's been working night and day to get this course ready. A week ago, if you would have seen this course, it was all white. It was all a different color. There was no green. But they've been putting the seed and the water to it. But what I want to tell you is, on the map, on the CC&Rs, on the 3rd page of the plat map for this parcel, it says that's an access easement, like all the other access easements. Now, if we go about 500 yards, 400 yards that way, there's a tract H over in parcel 13 that is paved different. It doesn't have plants growing inside of the access easement. It's paved. It has, and golf carts use it every day. And I want to show you this right here. We've had about 10 days or a week of work right here on this. It's beautiful. It's pristine. They had the men's club out here. You don't see a scrap of paper on this course. Anywhere. Anywhere. They had the men's club out here and they were picking up. Everybody had a trash because they're looking for a grand opening. Well, when they started this reseeding, this was in place. You see what this is? This is a hazard. This is a public hazard It's a trip hazard, it's a fall hazard. It's over a foot deep right there. And this was carved about a month ago. Okay? Those two rocks right there were put there by Dan Veskerna when he got here last week. And I want to show you this bladder right here. There's a piece of plastic bladder. It's a membrane that was put here, and there's nothing on the description on how to build this access easement that mentions the bladder. It says grouted riprap. Grouted riprap. This is supposed to be grouted riprap. This line of bushes you're looking down here, those bushes there are to camouflage and disguise the berm that runs the whole length of the west side of this tract. And those rocks were put there without permission, and he's trying to stop the navigation of members of the community going through here. Getting back down to this ditch. The reason this ditch hasn't been fixed, or the reason everybody, Charlie Waters, Andy Loma, everybody is blind to this. They've been driving by it for a month. Andy and Charlie Waters have probably played 10 rounds of golf. Every time they come by here, they stop and drive by it. They've had maintenance crews working almost 24 hours a day to get the golf course ready. This should be an embarrassment. But the reason they're not fixing it, nobody agrees that this is a track, this is an access easement. And especially not for golf carts. We're not going to let golf carts use it. Since we don't want golf carts using it, we won't recognize it as a golf cart access or public access. We're not going to fix that. Let me tell you what happens and what has been happening here for the last 12 years. That has been, well, for the first 10 years, that ditch wasn't there. It had been filled in. When I reported to the Buckeye, well, I went up to Craig Hughes. But anyway, you've seen, the purpose I was down there was to show you that public hazard. That public hazard has been there for a month. Anybody that has anything to do with the men's club or the golf management establishment, Carlos, Andy, Charlie Waters, the whole men's group, they go by that every day and they see that public hazard, that thing where if somebody came down, I'm going to tell you, all summer long, that easement has been used by golf cart people and it's been used by walkers. Okay? Dan Veskerna shows up and says, I'm here, no more. We don't care what you've been doing, unrestricted, for the last 5 months. For the last 5 months, there's been no HOA out here to tell the people you can't drive your golf cart down here. For the last 5 months, the golf course hasn't had any marshals or anybody down here telling anybody you can't walk here. So it's been an open policy of the HOA and the golf course to allow people to go through there until Dan Veskerna shows up. When Dan Veskerna shows up, he'll take care of this. He'll fix it. We won't have to. We'll let Dan, a private, just a member of the community, that's all he is, a dues paying member. Now Dan Veskerna has been paying dues on one house for 12 years. We both started paying dues together. I paid dues on 3 houses for about 9 years, and for the last 2 or 3, I've been paying dues on 2 houses. Here's one guy that pays 1 dues, so over the years he's probably paid $10,000, and this guy is allowed to take away from the rest of us the privilege of using that access easement. And the access easement is on the plat map. It's on the plat map. It says access easement. That means everybody that lives in this parcel, all 63 houses, we all pay dues. We all pay the water bill for those plants. We maintain it. It's tax-free. But this guy comes along because 1 week a month he's here. He's able to shut this down. And when he leaves, what happens is all the school children start playing in the playground. We start playing in the playground. This is our playground. We can drive onto it anytime we want, and we can walk on it anytime we want. Because you have an example of it, and I'm going to go over there next and take videos of the next access easement. And I'm going to go on Google and I'm going to show both of them, from the satellite, from the street, on paper, the documents that support them. And that video that I take of the next access easement that's paved and set up for golf carts and used daily by golf carts, I'm going to draw some contradiction in my Google videos about what took place here and try to warn anybody that ever buys a house on an access easement, or ever buys a house on in a golf course community. They're going to find out how an HOA can be vague, can be nebulous. You go in there for clarification on that and they say it's not an access easement. Well, these houses right here, that house is 40 feet from that access easement. 40 feet. And I'm going to show you, there's a house for sale right on the access easement over in parcel 13, tract H. There's a house for sale right now for $200,000. If the guy's a golfer and he goes over there and looks at the house and he says, how do I get on the golf course? They say, go down the street. It's right there. Your easement is right there. You can drive your golf cart on the course anytime you want. Now, I live in this house. I'm 40 feet from a legal access easement on paper. On the plat map, it says it's an access easement. There's no distinction between tract H, which is paved for golf carts and used by golf carts. There's no legal distinction on paper between tract H and this one, tract A. But here's what my dilemma, my challenge, and here's how I got my equity gutted by the HOA and the Veskernas. They don't want to open that up. They had it for the first 9 years they were here. There wasn't even a ditch there. It was filled up with plants and trees. All those plants and trees were trimmed by the membership. They were watered by the membership. And since that's an access easement on the map, it's supposed to be available to everybody in the community. It's tax-free. So the Veskernas, those people over there, got a tax-free lot. It's an extra 3,000 feet that was added to their property. It was filled in with trees, and nobody could walk on it. Well, I got involved. They started picking on me. I went up, I asked Pat Pence-Young, why can't I walk there? And I went in with a bunch of paperwork, and that's why nobody, and the reason I'm making this video, I'll probably throw this in right here. I've been kicked out of the clubhouse now 3 times. The last time I went in there, you accused me of verbally accosting Charlie Waters. Well, me and Charlie Waters got some history. If I explained the history to you, you could see why I was trying to get an answer out of Charlie. Charlie will never give an answer to anybody. I think everybody realizes that Charlie, every time you ask him a question, he says, put it all down paper, submit it, as he's walking away from you. Put it on paper and submit it, and he dismisses you by walking away from you. This has been going on now for 3 years over this access easement. Okay? But the same buyer who looked at the house that's on the access easement, that's used by golf carts, it's used by everybody on a daily basis, if that same guy comes over here and he says, I'm a golfer, I'm going to be playing golf the rest of my life, maybe 5 days a week, how do I get on the golf course from here? And I've told you this in other videos. I have to tell this guy that 45 feet away is a designated access easement on paper. But because of lack of clarification, I have to tell him that he has to put 400 yards onto his cart to go over there to get on the general public easement onto the golf course. From here, out to Sundance Parkway, down a pedestrian path to there. While the people in parcel 13H